Welcome back, MTN Nets podcast. The Nets will not go 0-82 this year, so we have that going for us. They get their first win, home opener win, go to 1-2 on the year. They beat the Bucks, which, if I'm a Bucks fan right now, I'm a little concerned. You know, they lost last game to the Bulls, and then they lose this game to a Nets team that has no business winning by this much, and honestly, they should have won by more. They really should have. If you watched the last 2 or 3 minutes, you'll know that the reserves were terrible for the Nets. They could not get the ball past half court. It was like the varsity team versus the JV team. It was like one of those things. So anyway, they win by 13, 115, 102. Of course, the first two games were L's, and they lost to the Hawks, which was a close game. Lost at Orlando on Friday, not as much of a close game. But getting this win tonight, home opener, Jordie Fernandez first win, it feels good. You know, and the Nets have the Bucks pick, so this is one of those wins where it doesn't really impact you in a negative way too much. So if there's any teams you want the Nets to beat, it's the Bucks, it's the Knicks, and it's probably the Suns because they have all their picks. So this is a good win. This was a nice night as a Nets fan, and I would say there were a lot of positives that I want to talk about in this game. A lot of great individual performances. Guys like Schroeder, Cam Thomas, who else? Zaire Williams had some nice moments. Clowney, Claxton off the bench played well. So we'll talk about all of it. Hope you guys enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe, and let's get into it. I'm not sure where to start here. I think I just want to talk about Jordie Fernandez and what we've seen so far, some of the differences we've seen. One thing I've noticed for sure is that there are random possessions throughout the game, maybe 3 to 5 times a game, where they will randomly start full court pressing. And it actually worked one time. There was it the first or second game, one of those games, where they did create an 8-second violation. So, that's nice to see. The hustle pays off. And the ball movement stuff is very good as well. Now, there's times I've seen plays where maybe Cam Thomas could have swung it to Cam Johnson for an open look and didn't do it, things like that. But we even saw this in the preseason. They've had their possessions where, I think I joked before, they kind of look like the 2014 Spurs. They moved the ball so well. There was a moment today in this game where it was Cam Thomas and somebody else, and Cam made a great play. He passed the ball to the wing, cut to the basket, got back to the wing, and then swung it to the corner for a 3. I forget who made the shot now. It might have been Keon Johnson or something, but they've had possessions like that where you're like, whoa, that was really impressive ball movement, and stuff we didn't really see too much last year. They had their moments, but it just seems more frequent this year. There's also been some things about trying to rotate that final spot in the rotation. We've seen them play Shake Milton before. They tried Keon Johnson today, and Keon wasn't great from a box score standpoint. He was 0 of 3 and 0 points. He had 2 rebounds, but they want to try a different thing and see if it works, and I get that. But overall, I've liked what I've seen from Jordie Fernandez so far. They even pointed out today on the broadcast he's a great whistler, very loud whistler. So if you care about that, he's very good at getting players' attention. He whistles very loud. They still have not started Nick Claxton yet, I believe, and he's getting worked in slowly. He did play 22 minutes tonight, but with the hamstring injury, not playing in preseason, they are taking it slow. I didn't see the Nets tweet out the starters today. I mean, I'm sure they did, but I didn't see it. So when they announced Nick Claxton with the reserves, I was like, huh? Why is he not starting? But he was the sixth man tonight. But I would say overall, the intros were not great today. I know it's a Sunday 6 p.m. game where it's kind of lame. I hate basketball games like that because these are football days, in my opinion. I felt like the Nets intros were not great. They had guys run out the tunnel, and it just, I don't know, it didn't feel like the other ones. Of course, we've had more exciting teams in the past, obviously, but this just didn't feel that great. And I didn't know what the pregame intro music was. It was a Jay-Z song, and I feel like I should know this because I do know a lot of Jay-Z songs, but I was not familiar with that one. But I wasn't really a fan of the entire intro. Just the atmosphere of it wasn't great. The way they announced the starting lineup, I don't know. And Dorian Finney-Smith was the last guy announced, which if I'm the Nets, I feel like they and I feel like most teams do this, announce the best player last. I remember back when we had are a great team together. They would announce KD first, and then they would put Harden second to last. They would put Kyrie last. Like, they would try to build it up and make it like suspenseful, but they called out, I think, Schroeder first. They put Cam Thomas second. I guess they were going in some type of order based on position, and Dorian Finney-Smith was technically the center, so they announced him last, but I don't know why they did it like that. I wasn't really a fan. Speaking of Dorian Finney-Smith, he was not that great tonight. He did make 1 3, but overall it was a rough night for him. He was asked to do more than he probably can do from a size standpoint, like play a lot of minutes on Brook Lopez and Giannis and whatnot, and that's tough, obviously. I mean, the Nets are a bit undersized right now without Day'Ron Sharpe, and their entire center position has kind of been thin this year based on injuries, and even Trendon Watford, who does add size, he's been out the entire year so far. It feels like Cam Johnson's gotten off to a nice start this year. I mean, last year he came in with an injury. I forget what it was. It might have been hamstring. Knowing this team, it probably was. But he came in last year a bit hurt, and he didn't get off to the best start, and he just had a tough time finding his footing. But this year, at least, he's been consistent so far. He's had between 12 and 14 points in all 3 games. But he's been making his shots. He has been contributing in more of an athletic way. I feel like attacking the basket has been more natural for him this year as compared to last year. The ability to create for himself has been better. So I'm hoping that last year was kind of just like he was somewhat hurt and wasn't 100%, but Cam Johnson so far has looked better. Dennis Schroeder's gotten off to a good start as well. Schroeder had a really good night. He was 8 of 15, 5 of 8 from 3, made all 8 free throws, 6 assists, had a steal, had 4 rebounds, just like the total package tonight. So I was impressed with him for sure. And he's like their vet. He is the team leader. I saw the video. I'm sure most of you guys saw the video of him standing up for Ben Simmons in the Magic, not the locker room, but it was like on the way to the locker room when that one fan was heckling Ben Simmons, and then Schroeder came out just looking for like the guy who said it. And Schroeder, I put this on Twitter, Schroeder sometimes is like a Hall of Fame crash out, but I do love it. There was the play where Pat Connaughton hit Schroeder in the face going for the ball, supposedly going for the ball, but he did get a flagrant for it, but Schroeder like tried and get in his face, and Jordie Fernandez kind of had to block him like an offensive lineman. But I really like what I've seen from Schroeder, playing with great pace, great control of the offense. He's been shooting the ball well, attacking at the right times, getting guys involved. As I said, team leader. Ben Simmons, it's been a little disappointing. He's been healthy at least, so I'll take that. But even tonight, I mean, the game was pretty much over by this point. It was pretty like late in the fourth quarter. But Simmons had this atrocious moment where, to give him credit, he did tip the ball out from Damian Lillard around half court. So he did a good job getting a steal from behind, poking the ball out. And then they pass it up to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is in charge of a 3-on-1 fast break. Brook Lopez is the one defender back, which I get it. Brook Lopez, big guy. But instead of just taking it at his chest or making the right pass, Ben Simmons gives up the ball way too early, gets it back, and was afraid to shoot the ball. And it's just like, it's so frustrating. I put that clip on Twitter, and it already has like 8 quote tweets, and people are just laughing at him. Like, there's still those moments of Ben Simmons, like, bro, shoot the damn ball. And I said this in the, last video I did. I talked about there's going to be frustrating moments with this guy still where he should be attacking the basket and doesn't do it. He did it in preseason. I felt like that might have changed, hopefully, with him feeling healthier, and it just hasn't. There's just something up here in his head, for the podcast listeners, that is just not clicking. And I know he doesn't want to go to the free throw line because he sucks there, but still, like, get there. We don't care as fans. We want to see you be aggressive. We don't want to see you pass up wide open layups and pass up shots where you easily could take it at the guy's chest. It's a 3-on-1 situation. If you miss the layup, you probably have a teammate right there to get the rebounds. I just don't know what goes through this guy's head. So that part is frustrating, but at least he does make impacts in other ways. He did have some nice plays today where he would push the pace, do the dribble handoff thing, and get an open 3. So he did have his good moments, but he's also had a lot of turnovers lately. I want to see his box score for the year, or game log, I should say. The first game was 6 turnovers. That was horrendous. 4 turnovers versus the Magic, only 2 tonight. So if these trends continue, it will be no turnovers versus the Nuggets on Tuesday. But yeah, I've just been a little disappointed with the turnovers and not attacking the basket, but for the most part, Ben is still healthy for now, so I'll take it. Cam Thomas, got to talk about him for a bit here. Cam was really good in the first game. He's had slow starts in every game. He definitely has not had like the best first quarters in terms of shooting the ball. But Cam in the first game had 36 points, shot above 50%, 24 points at Orlando on 7 of 17. Tonight he was 10 of 21. It should have been 10 for 20. That pass he had to Claxton off the backboard should have been considered a pass. I don't know why it's not. But Cam had 32 tonight. It was a really good overall game. There might have been a couple shots in there where it's like, all right, you probably shouldn't have taken that. But for the most part, I mean, there was one I remember where there was good ball movement and Cam got the ball on the left baseline. He was going towards the corner, so like momentum was taking him to the corner, and he just like got the ball and did a quick turnaround shot, and it barely grazed the front rim. I'm like, all right, that's probably not the best shot. I've seen him make it, but it's like still not the best shot. But overall, I've liked what I've seen. He's had over 5 rebounds in every game, 3 assists, 2 assists. He's had 5 steals total. Did have 2 tonight. So, overall, it's like it's looking pretty good for him so far. On the year from 3, shooting the ball pretty well. It was, I don't know if they're counting this game or not, but 55% from 3, I think, coming into this game. So that's phenomenal. But yeah, he's showing some growth still. I'm looking forward to how this season progresses. It's a massive year for him from a contract standpoint at 23 years old. And he just turned 23 as well. So he's going to hit the summer at 23, possibly being a 25-plus point per game scorer. Yes, on a bad team, but as I'm saying, like he might hit the market and get paid a lot. So the Nets have to be prepared for that and hopefully match any contract that a team out there gives Cam Thomas. And the Nets, as I said before, they're going to have probably the most cap space in basketball in the summer. There's no reason not to match a contract for Cam Thomas, and I hope he's a Net for the long term, so we'll see what happens with that. Jaylen Wilson, not much tonight, but Jaylen Wilson on the year I feel like has had a pretty nice season. The first game he was great. He shot 3 of 7 overall, 2 of 5 from 3, 16 points versus the Atlanta Hawks. The game versus Orlando was not great, no points. Did have 2 assists, and tonight's game was not great, only 2 points, but only played 14 minutes. So it's weird. He played 34 minutes in the first game, and you're thinking like, all right, he's going to be a really pivotal piece of this rotation. But the last 2 games was 13 minutes and 14 minutes, like pretty much 20 minutes less than the first game. And I did see a quote about Jordie Fernandez kind of calling out Jaylen Wilson's defensive effort, which I can't say I watched close enough to like really notice that in a bad way, but if that's what he sees and that's what he feels is right, then okay, I somewhat get that. So, he's definitely rewarding the guys who deserve to play, but I do want to see Jaylen Wilson grow throughout this year. He's still 23 years old. He turns 24 in about a week here, but he's shown a lot of promise. He might be a good rotational player one day. Zaire Williams, definitely want to talk about him. He honestly has shown really nice flashes. I know he's not like the best player, but the upside is there at 6'9", right? A wing who can defend and have great hustle plays. Had a putback dunk tonight. Had a nice 3-pointer from the left wing today that was just nothing but net. So he's had pretty good shooting numbers so far. 3 of 6, 3 of 7, 3 of 8. He's made a 3 in every game so far, and yeah, he's honestly looked pretty good. Defensively, he's showing the length. He's making plays with on-ball defense. So I don't know what's going to happen with him going forward, but as a guy who, once again, was a top 10 pick in 2021, he's going to have a chance to play, and hopefully he runs with this. Noah Clowney, he actually looked good tonight. I liked what I saw from Clowney. He looked very confident with his jump shot. He was 3 of 8 from downtown, 11 points. 13 points, sorry. So he's had 7, 7, and 13. But the shooting numbers are not terrible for a guy who's his height at 6'9" and plays the 4. Maybe you hope for better shooting numbers, but he does take a lot of threes. He took 3 threes, 4 threes, 8 threes tonight. So I get it. You want better percentages, but overall, like he has shown that he has a chance to be a very good stretch four in this league. And I know he had a rough game, I think, versus Orlando, but overall, I liked what I've seen. I think the potential's still there. The upside's still there. I'm still excited for this guy. So the Nets have not really had like a floor-stretching 4 in a while. Well, I'm trying to think because we did have Blake Griffin do it for a bit. We had Aldridge, but these guys were, well past their prime. But for a young guy to look forward to, like Noah Clowney definitely has a very high ceiling still. Who else? I mean, Nick Claxton, he did have a couple nice blocks tonight. He had a really nice one. A guy tried a hook shot or a push shot, and he just got it at the right time, swatted that away. And as I mentioned, he had that off the backboard alley-oop from Cam Thomas. That was a great play. So he did have a double-double tonight, and he is working back from injury, so we'll wait to see what he does before really judging what Nick Claxton can do. And Claxton actually had a really nice fast break. It was pretty early in the game, might have been like late first quarter, but he just went coast to coast. He took it at Brook Lopez, did a little Euro step, and went to his right. He is a lefty. Went to his right hand off the backboard. Like, it was a really nice play for a center to go full court like that and score on Brook Lopez. But tonight he was good. 5 of 6. He did have the 2 blocks. He did get ejected opening night, so that was a little disappointing. I forget who he hit now, but he clotheslined somebody, and it was pretty much worth an ejection. I wasn't too mad about that. But the minutes have been increasing. It was 15 the first game, 20 versus Orlando, 22 tonight. They didn't really have to play him at the end of this game because of the score, but I would imagine versus the Nuggets he gets around, 26, 28 minutes. So he's getting there. He'll be a starter soon. He'll be fine. So yeah, overall, it's been a pretty interesting start to the Nets season. I still don't know what to root for. I'm still getting used to this whole tanking thing, but I would say so far it's been pretty enjoyable. Like, they're keeping games close. The one versus Orlando, it got out of hand in like the early fourth quarter. But I would say the first game was very fun to watch. This game was very fun to watch. I'm happy they got a win. Like, you don't want to lose too much. There's a fine line, So starting 0-2, it was all right, but you can't start like 0-10. I don't want to be that bad. So you want to find a way to be around 20 wins and hopefully get the first pick. That's the goal here. But you also want to make sure that like Jordie Fernandez is getting some wins and the guys are still staying interested. And there are still some frustrating aspects of this team. And of course, Ben Simmons is at the forefront of it. But yeah, this schedule is tough coming up. Denver, Memphis, Chicago, Detroit actually looks kind of, I don't want to say good, but they look all right this year. Memphis again, Boston, Cleveland, New Orleans, Boston, Knicks. Then you get Charlotte, which is like winnable. But yeah, these next like 10 plus games are tough. So I don't know what this team's going to start out as. They might start, I don't know. They might start 3-15 or something. I have no idea. But I just want to see close games. If they lose, they lose. I don't really get too mad about it anymore, which is nice because I used to get so triggered when the Nets lost close games, and now it's like it's just kind of relaxing. So it's a relaxing year. I'm sure in 2-3 years from now, when games start to matter again, I'll still get triggered. But for now, it's nice to just kind of relax about it. But anyway, hopefully Jordie Fernandez continues to grow as a coach, and we see some of these young guys, Cam Thomas in particular, and Noah Clowney, and whoever else, Derek Whitehead, if he ever gets out there and plays meaningful minutes. Hopefully we see things trend in the right direction. So yes, I will talk to you guys. I'm trying to see the schedule here. If I do nothing next Friday, maybe after that Chicago Bulls game next Friday night, but if not, then maybe after the Memphis game on Monday, November 4th. So 2 Mondays from now. So something like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens over these next 3-4 games, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys next time.